Hello everyone, this is very exciting. We're going to try out some methods to enhance AI video. We're going to use Wan 2.1 and ComfyUI to fix some bad videos to make them look good. Rather than spending time generating new video, we're using existing ones like this. For example, when you have some morphing or not so good video generated previously, you might like the motions but notice issues with the objects. Look at the character's face on the left. It's morphing and broken in parts. And we can fix that using one of these techniques to enhance the video. We can have improvements like the ones on the right. And we can also get results like this. What I have here is the original video generated earlier in LTX, with morphing, broken faces, and all that. And we can fix that using Wan 2.1's video-to-video technique. It enhances the video we already have, and we get a much better result. Even when I set higher steps and a higher CFG, the results look even better for both people. This couple's video is another great example. It's one of the video I had previously in LTX, where we had morphing and broken parts of beetles walking on trees. Using this technique, we can fix that with crystal clear colors and detailed body parts. Plus, the branches on top of the trees look super detailed. This isn't about restoring AI video. It's another technique in Wan 2.1. We can use it for any existing video, whether they're AI generated or low quality. You can enhance them and get better results. So let's dive into how we can do that in ComfyUI. First, when you have something like these video and notice the low quality on the face, you don't see much detail. And overall, the video isn't performing well. A lot of stuff happens not just in LTX, but sometimes even in Wan 2.1 or Hanyuan video. You might encounter issues like this. If you like the motions but want to fix or enhance the video, there's something we can do with the existing video. We don't have to just try again or delete these video. Instead, I'll save these video and use them as examples today. We're going to use the Wan 2.1 workflow I tested yesterday, which includes layer guidance. This is something really interesting, layer guidance. What does that mean? It's a training-free sampling guidance method that helps improve video quality using diffusion models. The core idea of using skip layer guidance is that it allows selective skipping of certain layers during the generation process, which helps produce higher quality outputs. For example, we have settings here called blocks, and by default, these layers are included in the custom nodes. When you load skip layer guidance in ComfyUI like this, you'll usually see blocks 10 or 9, along with start and end percentages. This is similar to ControlNet, where 0.2 means 20% and 1.0 means 100%. So when editing existing video, we won't always aim for 100% end percentage. What I've been doing in my examples is setting it to 0.75, so blocks 9 and 10 are working on the skip layer guidance. That means we're having these two layers by the numbers that identify them. Through the process, you can use Tcache if you want, but I prefer staying with the original AI model approach. Right now, this workflow uses two different types of sampling. One includes Tile Lora, and the other doesn't. Tile Lora goes back to the top groups here. It's another Lora model trained in the Hugging Face community, acting as a tile control net. Basically, it's like a tile that receives or generates blurred or blurry video from your input video. Before passing into this node, we use image blur to act as the tile image frames for the video. So far, this is what we need to do for skip layer guidance and tile. Why am I using two different types of samplings, one with Tile Lora and one without? Well, sometimes if you have really broken character faces or body parts, like in these examples where the woman on the back has no clear details, I'll use sampling without Tile Lora. I don't want the face after enhancement to still look like the original video source. I want the AI to have more freedom to create the face and enhance the entire body part like hands, male characters, and glasses. You can see the difference. Without Tile Lora, the face is completely enhanced. If you use Tile Lora, it's more about adding details to already good generated video. For example, the left side video here was generated using Wan 2.1, while the right side one was generated with skip layer guidance and Tile Lora. This keeps the shapes and forms of the source video mostly intact, but adds more detail to each part. Take this character pulling a chair and talking to others, holding a glass of wine. The face gets more detailed, and the generated result improves the coloration and overall quality. That's what we typically use skip layer guidance with Tile Lora for, keeping the video elements the same while adding more detail. On the other hand, if we have really bad video generated, like in these examples, we'll use sampling with just skip layer guidance and no Tile Lora. This lets the AI have more freedom to regenerate the face and create a better overall video from the source reference. I'll show you some examples of this workflow and how it turns out. Let's start with this beetle walking on trees example. As you can see, there's a lot of morphing and broken parts in the beetles walking on the trees. Without Tile Lora, the result looks like this. You can see how each item or element in the generated video is clearer. Trees, branches, grasses on top of the tree branches. The motion of the beetles jumping back into position is very clear. It's two different levels of quality here. Using skip layer guidance without Tile Lora, the AI improves the quality significantly. For example, take this video on the left, which is a pretty good quality video already generated in ComfyUI Wan video. Using this, I'll apply skip layer guidance with Tile Lora to keep the face recognizable as the same person, but enhance the details in each frame. Notice the eyeshadow, especially in the last part of the video. The generated video have sharper eyeshadows with higher contrast. That's because of Tile Lora. So you'll see more details in the generated video. That's how we can decide which kind of video to use with this video-to-video workflow and whether to use Tile Lora or not for video enhancement. Let's try out some new examples. I'm not going to use the video I've tried before. Let's say we have this new video generated using LTX text-to-video. Coming back to the Wan 2.1 V2V skip layer guidance workflow, I've loaded this video here and I'm setting it to 49 frames. You can see how different it looks in the first few seconds of the woman's face. Here, we have the fast group bypasser, where I'll bypass the sampling with Tile Lora and the output result with Tile Lora. We only need the one without Tile Lora because we want to fix the morphing of the character's face. This time, we want to give more freedom to the AI model to do its creative work. For upscaling, we have a simple upscaler to upscale twice using this method. Then we'll get the generated result here. But this time, we don't need to upscale. We just want to focus on video enhancement. Let's run this and see how it turns out. Okay, so we got the generated video here, and let's see the comparison. First, you'll notice the character's face is improved a lot. Using this skip layer guidance again, it doesn't take too long for video generation. It's only 1 minute and 44 seconds, which comes back to the K-sampler. I'm using sampling steps 40, CFG6, and denoise. I set it a little higher this time to 0.6 because I wanted to change the character's face. Usually I set it to 0.3 to 0.4, which is good enough. Just like in image-to-image generations, if you set this number high, it will change more differences compared to the reference image. Same concept applies here in video-to-video. Eventually, if you set it to 1, it will be totally different. That's how the concept works. Just based on that, this isn't a special technique for using denoise. The thing is, by using skip layer guidance, we're able to improve video quality a lot. Even the glass of wine looks sharper. You see, when I pause this frame, the glass is much clearer and you start seeing more details on the hand. For example, the woman has a diamond ring on her middle finger, something you don't see in the reference video. It starts changing because I set denoise above 0.5, which adds a bit more elements to the video. But the most important thing is that using this process, we can enhance the quality of any existing video, especially for the character. This is the main point. Coming back to the workflow, if we set this number to 0.4, let's see how the result looks. So we're going to check out another result by using 0.4 denoise and the same skip layer guidance settings, using layer 10 with an end percentage of 80% and a start percentage of 20%. You can see the difference compared to what we had previously at 0.6 denoise. At 0.4 denoise, we're getting very close to the source reference video where it's not adding too many new elements. The only difference is very obvious in the character's face. It adds more details to the eyes and nose. Overall, the facial recognition starts to look like a clear human face. When we go back to 0.6 denoise, you see even more details, like wrinkles, but it adds more elements to the generated video, like the fork on the table. The diamond ring on the middle finger is more prominent, and there's a tray under the glass of wine. The man standing behind is looking toward the camera. There's a lot more difference when you set denoise above 50%, like hitting the 60% mark in this setting. On the other hand, at 40%, we're seeing very close to what we have in the reference video. Everything has the same shape and form, except the character's face is clearer. Also, a diamond ring, but this time it's a smaller diamond at the 40% mark. And we don't have the fork on the table. Coming back to the workflow, that's how we can use skip layer guidance and adjust the steps, CFGs, and denoise settings to optimize and enhance the video output. So far, this is the method I'm using for enhancing video using skip layer guidance without Tile Lora. One more thing, the skip layer guidance blocks here, the most stable ones we're working with are from 9 and 10. To keep these settings stable, you can put these two numbers here. This will most likely cover a wide range of video you can enhance. The sweet spot range for the end percentage is probably 0.6 to 0.8, which I've tested over the past few days. That's the range I'll apply for this value, and the other settings will remain as they are by default. Also, the text prompts. As you can see, we don't need to input anything because we have the good old tool to help generate text prompts from the first frame of the image. It doesn't really matter for this video-to-video method for video enhancement using text prompts. This is just for the first image frames as a reference. So when we have the correct video text prompts that describe what we have in the first frames of the reference video, that's good enough. Because all the motions and movements on the video are guided by each image frame passing into the video source and put into the VAE encode tile. That's most likely the concept of this method. Now, the second method I'm working on and will show you is sampling skip layer guidance with Tile Lora, and we also need the Tile Lora output result. So we're going to jump to this group. Here, we see another Lora model loader on here. This is going to load the Control Lora tile, which comes from the Hugging Face link I provided here. You guys can check it out. There are two versions of this Lora model. When you go to this link and see this page on Hugging Face, the models you'll use are either Control Lora tile version 0.2 or Control Lora tile version 1.0. Either one works fine. Of course, version 1.0 is the newer version, and it's good enough to use with the Lora loader. In here, I should just remove the file name and provide this link, and that's good enough. You can download one of them from here to make it work. Either way, load that into the Lora loader node here. The other settings are similar to what I showed in the other groups. The skip layer guidance has the same way of connections as well. The models connect to the skip layer guidance, connect to the Wan video Tcache, and finally connect the Lora model loader. You can switch the connection order if you like. For example, you can put the Wan video Tcache at the end and the Lora loader at the beginning of these connections. Using the models or after the skip layer guidance works the same way. For me, I'll put it in this spot because it just looks tidier on the workflow placement. So I connect the Wan video to Tcache here, and afterward, we put the last connections from the Lora loader to the K sampler. Other settings are similar to what I showed in other groups, and also in here, we need instruct pix to pix conditioning instead of using the VAE encode. This time, we need image blur to get the source video's each image frame slightly blurred and pass that into the pix-to-pix conditions. This acts like the tile control net models, where you input those kind of blurry outputs from the tile control net. If you've played around with tile control net before, you can check those outputs. They're kind of like blurry images. Using those, we can maintain the fixed shape and form of each item or object in your image. The same concept applies to video. We're just playing around with each image frame in the video. So getting those passed into the case sampler is the only difference we use in this area. In the case sampler, as you can see, we're using denoise 1.0. We don't need to worry about denoise being 0.3 or 0.5 or anything. We don't need to take care of those because we have the Tile Lora to guide the AI on the form and shape of objects in each image frame. So the only thing we need to take care of is the sampling steps and CFG in the case sampler to play around with that. Usually I'd set it to 30 or 40. If you want better quality, start at 40, and CFG in the range of 4 to 5 is good enough. And then lastly, we'll get the output result like what we've shown in the other groups. We'll see the comparison between two using the same video source here. Let's try it out with this one. Okay, so we got the generated result here. And let's see how it looks with the Tile Lora. And as you can see right here, we've got more coherence between the source video and the newly generated video. This is the individual player for that. We can pause this first, close this up, and focus on this side-by-side comparison video where you see there's more likeness in the facial recognitions for this generation because of the Tile Lora. We're able to keep the form and shape of every object looking alike. The only difference is that we're adding more details using the style layer guidance, so we're starting to get a blurry face like this one, and then we see the eyeballs. Now we start to see some wrinkles near the nose, and the teeth are showing. It looks better. Here we see the details are getting more and more in this one instead of having a blurry face that doesn't even look human in some shots. For example, in the first seconds here, it looks very obviously improved. Because in the first seconds of these frames, we don't even see the eyes. It's just getting the eyeshadow and we don't see the eyes at all. And after we do the enhancement, we see the eyeballs underneath the eyeshadows. We see more details on the nose as well, and some wrinkles on the face look more natural in this one. But then, when I realized that when I use the Tile Lora, you'll have a higher contrast for your generated video results, which you'll have to tune that up and down for the colorations. If you don't prefer to have high contrast or want even softer colorations, you have to do some adjustment at the end or afterward using a video editor. But then you'll see the overall video here. You'll have all consistency and all the objects are coherent with the source video without any changes. Like what we had before, we didn't suddenly have a fork on the table or suddenly the man on the back is facing forward. Those kind of weird stuff going on. And there's no diamond rings on the middle finger at this time. It stays like what is used to do with the source video. The only thing is that for the hand, we see it's more clear. We see the fist bones are showing, and also the fingers are more clear after we do the enhancement. Some video aren't good to use such methods, and I'll show in other examples which this example uses video that I just generated in LTX. It's okay to use the skip layer guidance with Tile Lora because the form and shape is generated good enough already in the previous generations in LTX. But if you have really morphing video, like broken on every part of the video, if you use those examples, it's not going to work using Tile Lora because the Tile Lora will keep the form and shape at the same coherent and consistent style. But then, if you have broken shapes and you want the AI to keep the same form of that, that means your generated result will still look broken. Okay, after I did some lazy prompting in LTX and finally got good examples, well, actually, it's not a good quality example, but a good video to demonstrate how to fix those morphing hands and broken face. So let's see the full view of that. You see, the face isn't pretty. It's like getting punched by Mike Tyson when he was at his peak. Looks like half of the eyes are closed, one eye is swelling, and the hands are moving really fast. This kind of challenge. But we don't see any form of fingers on each frame. So let's try using this one and see how that looks. So back to our video enhancement workflow. We load this video here. Then first, we'll try with the one using skip layer guidance and using the Tile Lora. In this way, we'll see the difference between if you have pretty well-formed video with another video example that we have here that doesn't form really well for the character, and we'll see how that looks like in this one. So we're going to check out this example. This time we got a pretty broken and morphing character, which is a good example to show You see the after enhancement, the eyeballs start appearing, but then you still aren't satisfied with this kind of quality, and the hands cannot be fixed. The face is still not good. And how can we do that in order to fix it and have the same motions? Now, in this case, what I will do from my point of view is that I will keep the motions. If you really think this source video of the waving hand and the character standing on the middle of the street like this, you really want this kind of motions, but you don't want the character looks like this. You don't want the face be broken like Mike Tyson punches 100 times on the face. And in this case, we're going to use the other method that is not including the Tile Lora, because the Tile Lora, as you can see, is keeping all the form and shape of the character in a consistent way. So therefore, even when we're doing sampling steps using the skip layer guidance, we focus on block 10. And this is like, getting more details on the face, but then the face is still broken. So on top of a broken face, you're adding more detail. It's not going to look pretty or not going to look good. So what I'm going to do is that we stop looking at this one and we will go to the other method, which is sampling without the Tile Lora. Now in this case, we will turn that off and use this group here to modify what we have. So the connections in here, we don't need to change anything. Instead, we need to do a little bit higher on the denoise because that woman is like a broken face apart. So we want to have like above 50%, maybe let's make it to 65% this time because it's heavily broken hands and the face is not looking good. And also we're going to put that in the safety spot, which including block 9 and 10 to work on the skip layer guidance. So let's try this out first. Okay, so we got the generated result. And as you can see, when we have using the skip layer guidance without Tile Lora, it is able to allow the AI not follow the whole form and shape of what we have from the source video and get more freedom to let it enhance the broken part of the face and broken part of the hand, at least the hand. Although it is in the fast motion in this video, we still able to see some fingers start appearing, start getting the palms showing. And especially the most enhanced is the character face. We see it is. Well, I don't think I need to explain this one. It is so obvious. Two different kinds of quality for the face. Let's check it out in full view. And right here, we got a full view of the video. You see the face, it is actually looks like a woman right now. After enhanced is not like a person got punched 100 times and got bruises, got the eyes swelling, all kinds of things happen on the face, right? The hand even is in a fast motion. We're still able to see some finger forms showing in here, although it is moving really fast in this one. And also, I try other seed numbers if you want to give it a try. And I've got the other examples, which looks like this, which this one are getting better on the hand as well. And then we actually see the fingers very clearly in the last seconds in this video's clip, able to see those fingers appear. Although it is in a fast movement right now, but everything are enhanced. But then the face, the character face are going to look different. And also, even I have this generate video result. The character face looks different. So if you want to remain what you have in the beginning of the source video, that face without a morphing version, maybe you want to do a face swap to do the character face that you desire to. That is your further steps to do that. But in this workflow, this method, it is using the skip layer guidance to enhance optimizing the video overall of the output generated result. So that is so far what we got. And let's compare one more time. We got the first source video, which is coming from what I have previously in LTX generated video. And then we got our enhanced video, which it is not an upscaled video size, but then we still able to see a clear picture of the character and the hands movement. And then this is the other video generate result that I just have. And it is looking better right now. Of course, some pixelated and some rough, not really detail on the backgrounds that can be done by using upscaler. And this is another part of the thing. So right now we are just focusing on the skip layer guidance. So that is it for this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Have a nice day. See ya.